fellow viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today in this video, we will show you comparison of Indian Army budget with China and USA. However, before we start our countdown, we would appreciate it if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel and also press the bell icon. So let's get started. When it comes to the size of a country's military, the budget allocated for their army plays an important role. A bigger budget usually means more powerful military capability and greater security for the country. We will compare the Indian Army budget with that of China and the United States. We will look at how much each country is spending on their military, where the money is going, and how India's defense budget stacks up against its two largest competitors in Asia. With this information, you will gain a better understanding of how India's economy affects its army and how it compares with other countries around the world. World military expenditure reached an all-time high of USD 2.1 trillion in 2021, the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute IPRI said on Monday, adding that the top three largest spenders were the United States, China, and India. Total global military expenditure increased by 0.7% in real terms in 2021 to reach USD 2,113 billion. The five largest spenders in 2021 were the United States, China, India, the United Kingdom, and Russia, together accounting for 62% of expenditure, the Stockholm base said in a statement. Even amid the economic fallout of the COVID-19 pandemic, world military spending hit record levels, said Dr. Diego Lopes da Silva, senior researcher with CIPRI's Military Expenditure and Arms Production Program. There was a slowdown in the rate of real terms growth due to inflation. In nominal terms, however, military spending grew by 6.1%. As a result of the economic recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic, defense spending amounted to 2.2% of global GDP, while in 2020 this figure reached 2.3%. U.S. military spending reached USD 801 billion in 2021, a drop of 1.4% from 2020, the statement said. In the period from 2012 to 2021, the U.S. increased funding for military research and development by 24% and reduced spending on arms purchases by 6.4%, according to the statement. Second place went to China, which spent USD 293 billion on defense, an increase of 4.7% compared with 2020. India's military spending ranked third with USD 76.6 billion last year, an increase of 0.9% in comparison with 2020. According to the Stockholm-based institute, India's military spending of USD 76.6 billion ranked third highest in the world. This was up by 0.9% from 2020 and by 33% from 2012. In a push to strengthen the indigenous arms industry, 64% of capital outlays in the military budget of 2021 were earmarked for acquisitions of domestically produced arms. The UK spent $68.4 billion on defense last year, up by 3% from 2020, the statement read. Meanwhile, Russia took the fifth slot with the highest defense spending. Russia increased its military expenditure by 2.9% in 2021 to USD 65.9 billion, at a time when it was building up its forces along the Ukrainian border. This was the third consecutive year of growth, and Russia's military spending reached 4.1% of GDP in 2021, the statement said. In 2021, high energy prices helped Russia to increase its military spending, Lucy Barrow-Sudrow, director of CIPRI's Military Expenditure and Arms Production Program, said, adding that between 2016-2019 Russia experienced a decrease in the military spending due to low prices of oil and gas as well as sanctions imposed on Russia. Indian Army budget. The Indian Army is the land-based branch and the largest component of the Indian Armed Forces. The President of India is the Supreme Commander of the Indian Army, and it is commanded by the Chief of Army Staff Coas, who is a four-star general. As of 2017, the Indian Army had 1,129,900 active troops and 960,000 reserve troops, making it the world's second largest standing army after China's People's Liberation Army. Its primary mission is to ensure national security and national unity, defending the nation from external aggression and internal threats, and maintaining peace and security within its borders. The Indian Army has a budget of $46 billion for financial year 2018-19. This is an increase of 10% from last year's budget of $42 billion. The Army's share of the central government's overall expenditure has risen to 17%, up from 13% in 2013 to 14. China has the largest army in the world with 2,183,000 active troops and 2,300 tanks. The Chinese army also has 3,500 combat aircrafts. The USA has 1,281,900 active troops with 19 aircraft carriers, while India has 1,129,900 active troops with no aircraft carriers. India also has a huge stockpile of weapons and equipment for its army. It has about 4,426 battle tanks, 6,704 armored fighting vehicles, 3,719 pieces of artillery, and 36 fighter aircrafts. The Indian Army has the 5th highest defense budget in the world and is the world's 2nd largest standing army. It has a mandate to defend India's borders, maintain internal security, and safeguard its sovereignty. China's army budget. The budget for China's army is $261 billion. The country has the largest standing army in the world with over 2 million soldiers. The army budget has increased significantly in recent years, largely due to the country's economic growth. China's defense spending is now second only to that of the United States. China has been modernizing its military in recent years, and its army budget reflects this. The budget funds training and education for soldiers, as well as new equipment and technology. China is also working on developing its own weapon systems, which are becoming increasingly sophisticated. Despite its large budget, China's army faces some challenges. The country does not have a lot of experience fighting wars, and its soldiers are not as well trained as those of other countries. Additionally, China's weapon systems are not yet on par with those of the United States and other developed countries. USA's army budget. The United States Army is set to receive a budget of $696 billion for the 2020 fiscal year. This budget is an increase of 3.5% from the 2019 Army budget, and it includes money for salaries, benefits, operations and maintenance, training, and equipment. The Army budget also includes $9.2 billion for research and development. The United States spends more on its military than any other country in the world. In fact, the U.S. military budget is nearly as large as the next 7 countries' military budgets combined. The U.S. Army makes up a large portion of that, spending nearly $700 billion in 2020 alone. This high level of spending is necessary to maintain the United States' position as a global superpower. The U.S. Army is responsible for protecting the country from its enemies, both foreign and domestic, and it must be prepared to deploy troops at a moment's notice. The U.S. Army budget pays for the salaries and benefits of more than 1 million active duty soldiers, as well as tens of thousands of National Guard and Reserve troops. How the budgets compare. India's army budget for the fiscal year 2019-2020 is $71.1 billion. This is a 7.6% increase from the previous year's budget of $66.4 billion. The Indian Army is the 2nd largest army in the world, behind only China. China's army budget for the fiscal year 2019-2020 is $261 billion. This is a 7.5% increase from the previous year's budget of $243 billion. China has the largest army in the world, with over 2 million soldiers. The United States Army budget for the fiscal year 2019-2020 is $686 billion. This is a 3% increase from the previous year's budget of $668 billion. The United States has the 2nd largest army in the world, with over 1 million soldiers. When compared, it is clear that China has the largest army budget of the 3 countries. The United States has the 2nd highest army budget, and India has the 3rd highest army budget. What the budgets mean for each country. The table below compares the military budgets of India, China, and the United States. All figures are in US dollars. India's budget is $50 billion. China's budget is $146 billion. The United States budget is $610 billion. India's budget is relatively small when compared to the budgets of China and the United States. However, it should be noted that India has a population of over 1.2 billion people, while China has a population of over 1.3 billion people, and the United States has a population of just over 324 million people. Therefore, India's budget is actually very impressive when compared on a per capita basis. In fact, on a per capita basis, India's budget is nearly double that of China and nearly triple that of the United States. For China, the large budget is indicative of its growing influence and desire to become a major military power in the world. The country is investing heavily in modernizing its military and expanding its naval presence in the South China Sea. So this was our today's video. I hope you all liked this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe my channel, and also share it with your friends and family. We will be back soon with a new video. Till then, keep supporting and take care.